Hi, Arpu. Lovely to see you. Hi, audience. Is Parul, your regular host, life and leadership coach. So we always been talking about confidence, but we bring in different subject which is related to confidence, and we'll give you details at end of the interview as well how to, you get in touch with us. So we got today our lovely Arpu Kumar. Arpu gave us an interview before. As well, which you listened in September. So today we came with another topic because we celebrated World's Mental Health Day yesterday. So, and yeah, 10th of September was World Mental Health Day, but the whole 10th of October, sorry, and the whole October we've been doing quite a lot of stuff related to mental health and looking after ourselves, self-care. So Arpo is an international human rights lawyer, but she also head of an organization called Split the Difference. And Arpu does lots of work on justice, especially gender issues, and make sure that gender equality. And you'll find more about her on her bio as well. So welcome to the platform, Arpu, and lovely to see you. And thank you for giving your time. So today we'll be discussing, about happiness. You know, so I just wanted to start with my first question is what does happiness mean to you?
Well, thank you, Parul, for having me on your show once again. It's a privilege, and I feel honored and I'm humble at the same time that you again invited me to engage in a very constructive conversation regarding mental health and happiness. So I'm happy to be here. So, yeah, the question, what is happiness? It's a very complex question, but at the same time, a very simple one as well, because we don't have a universal definition for happiness. What happiness means to me may not mean to someone else, but still a universal strain that connects the meaning of happiness for all of us is that happiness is a state of mind. Happiness is what we feel and what we think positively in our minds and what we actually transform our thoughts as into our actions. So basically, this is a general overview of happiness, but on some philosophical perspectives, we can just classify happiness into two perspectives: hedonic and a eudaimonic perspective. So, for example, when we conceptualize happiness in terms of hedonic perspective, we can equate it to some normal feelings that we have, like of pleasure, of comfort, of enjoyment, etc. Whereas in terms of eudaimonic perspective, we equate happiness with a more fulfilling and a meaningful life, because it's all about a theory of self-acceptance, personal growth, our purpose in life, your positive relations with your environment, your surroundings, your autonomy on yourself, like how much can you control about what you want to do in your life, and how much of control you have of your own actions in your own life. So this is what basically happiness is. And according to Indian thoughts, like we just relate happiness to a perspective of saying like Sat Chit Anand, which means truth, consciousness, and bliss. So this leads to Anandmay, man, or Shant Man, as we say it in Hindi, or in Indian language. So this means that when we have this perspective of truth, consciousness, and bliss, this leads to a peaceful state of mind in our entire being. So this is happiness.
Thank you. No, thank you for explaining it in two different meaning. One is obviously fulfillment. The other one is the pleasure, short term. So, yes. Clearly. So thanks, Arpo. Yeah, so my next question is, if you can explain to our audience about how they can open their mind to positive thoughts and happiness?
Well, I would just say that your thoughts are really important. What you think is how you act, and how you act will configure your whole feelings about your own general well-being. So when we say that, how we open our minds to happiness, then we just have to understand that thoughts are extremely important, because they shape our subjective world and can trigger all sorts of negative and positive emotional reactions as per their nature. So secondly, your actions matter equally, because your actions will come from your thoughts. So for instance, you're feeling grateful about something. So this is an attitude which we have a gratitude expression for. Or say you are feeling sorry about something, you will have that feeling of forgiveness for your own self and for the other person whom you have done some wrong. So third feeling could be you want to help someone. So this could also bring some sort of humbleness. This could also bring some sort of behavior changes in your mind, that you want to help someone who is poor with some sort of clothes or food. This will make you more humble. This will make you more of a person who is kind hearted, who is sympathetic towards others, or who cannot see others in pain. So this makes you content when you act to do some favor to a person who is vulnerable, or who is not as blessed as you are in so many ways. So this aspect of your action will open up your mind to a positive thought, which is called happiness. Because any positive thought that you have in your mind, a self-related factor, as good as being kind to someone, being humble in your behavior, helping others with anything that they need, these all factors are external factors, but they are self-related, and they play an important role in creating that happy state of mind. Because state of mind is a series of positive thoughts. So all I can say is that when you are happy, you will have those thoughts coming in your mind, which actually make you feel more and more positive with every act that you do, and hence you will have a positive state of mind. So I also personally feel that it's all about statement of mind. If people want to be happy, they want to be self-aware that we have these financial securities, these assets with us, and now we need to create as much more for a happy life. But very often we see people relating happiness to money. I agree, we do need money to live a happy life, but money cannot guarantee a happy life. This is what studies have shown. When we do happiness intervention studies psychologically, we see that people with limited means and limited assets might be more content and more satisfied than people with more means and more assets and more wealth, because they will have temptation to have it more than they already have. But whereas people who are with limited resources shall become satisfied at some stage, that at least they are happy with whatever means they have. They are living a peaceful life. They can enjoy with their families. They can go out with their friends. They can spend time relaxing their mind, creating those positive thoughts, and hence becoming healthy individuals. So it's all about your thoughts and actions. That's what a happy state of mind is. And positive thoughts induce happiness.
Okay. You've already kind of answered my next question. I was going to ask, what is happy state of mind? So you've already kind of answered it. Do you want to add anything else on what is happy state of mind before I ask you next question?
Well, like I said, your thoughts, your actions, they create a happy state of mind. So it's very important to have positive thoughts Like, for example, I always tell people whom I counsel or whom I interact in my day-to-day professional life, I always tell them that maintain a gratitude journal. It's very important to write what you feel. Even if you are feeling negative emotions, write about them, because the moment you write about them, they dissipate your energy. And when you dissipate your energy, your negative emotions are let out of you. And there becomes a vacuum which you can fill with some positive thoughts. So if you have, say, like a routine, like I have a routine of writing 3 things which are the most positive things happening to me in a day. Either I do that to myself or somebody else does it to me, or I think of doing it to myself. So I write them down, and when I reread them, it creates a sort of a positive thought in my mind, a thought of encouragement, a thought of motivating me, a thought of pushing me to do good things, or making me realize my self-worth, that today was a hard day and I passed it with humbleness and kindness. I didn't get angry with anybody, I didn't quarrel with anybody, I didn't misbehave or use any abusive language. It's very important to do these little things for self-development and self-growth. That's what life and leadership coaching is all about, isn't it, Parul?
Great, for you summarized it. Yeah. So, how do you measure happiness, and why is it important to stay happy, especially for mental health?
Uh, well, there's a concept called flow in psychology. We call it flow.
Yeah.
So it's a cognitive state in which an individual becomes fully engaged in whatever he or she is doing. So it's like, when we relate happiness to work, that's one parameter to measure how happy we are, how satisfied we are. I, being a lawyer or a legal professional, how satisfied I am if I'm not able to concentrate on the work I'm doing as a legal professional. But contrary to this, if I am able to focus so much on the topics that I'm doing research on, a case I'm focusing on, I lose the sense of time and my environment and everything. That means I'm so immersed in my work that it is making me be more creative, that I could be more creative in my approach to work. I could be more productive in my work. So this measures my work-life balance, and also how happy in the work I am that I am doing. So this is one of the parameters to measure if you are happy when you are working in a particular job. So if you are able to not to lose that flow of working in that one job, that means you are happy in your current profile. You are satisfied in your current profile. You feel more productive. You feel the sense of time not taking the better of you, but with each passing minute, you feel more and more productive because you are adding to your self-development as a professional and to the worth of the company or the organization that you're working for. That's one aspect of measuring happiness. The second would be, like we already said in part, money. So how much you are earning could also influence your happiness levels, because if you are earning less than what you are actually contributing to in terms of your working hours, then that could cause you stress. And having those stressful emotions will certainly affect your happiness levels. So the second level would be money. So if you are satisfied with the money that you are earning after the number of hours that you have put in work, that could also be one of the parameters to measure your happiness levels. But I would still warn all people that money is not a parameter to assess your happiness level. You could be very rich but still an unhappy and a miserable soul. So happiness does not have anything to do with money. It can buy you goods, assets, and luxuries and your needs, but it will not make you happy if you do not create positive thoughts inside yourself and develop those virtues called empathy, kindness, and the human aspect of your nature, you will not be happy. So these are few parameters we generally use to assess if you are happy. So, and flow, like I mentioned, a psychological term, it's kind of related to happiness, because if you are at flow during any activity that you are doing, whether it is engagement in a positive thought, whether it is an activity relating to your professional life while you're working in an office, it's likely that it influences your happiness levels. So conversely, when these positive thoughts are the flow of these positive thoughts, it is hindered, then your happiness is actually affected. Because then it might be the case that if you're working in an office, then your activity is hindered by something that displeases you, that will actually affect your level of skill, your expertise, or perhaps any external factor also, like your for example, your work environment, your colleagues. If you are not very happy with those people, if they are not the people you like to socialize with, that will also affect your happiness levels. So that's one aspect beyond what you are being paid for, in your office. So if you are not able to socialize with the people around you, that also affects your mental well-being, your happiness, or your stress levels. So it's very important to know that the only way we can assess or measure happiness is by knowing or becoming self-aware that we have positive thoughts. And if you write it down, like I said previously, that's one of the best assessment we can have of our own happiness. Because maintain a happiness journal. See how happy you have been today. Write about 2 things that made you happy. Write about 2 things that made you stressed. And after a month, go back and see on the same day if there is something adding to the list what made you happy, or adding to the list what made you sad on the same date of the previous month.
Thank you, Arpu. I think that's a great tips. That's a really good tips, actually. So as a human rights, so I want to ask you next question is there something called happiness index as part of human rights indexes?
Well, we have a Human Development Index introduced by United Nations Development Programs. So they have HDIs, and they rate all the countries every year, depending upon which countries are the most suitable countries to live, and the countries which are happiest countries on this planet. So Bhutan, a very close neighbor to India, a landlocked country neighboring India, is the happiest country on this planet. Bhutanese people are said to be the happiest people living on earth. So it is a lush green country inhabiting people who live in the lap of mighty Himalayas, the biggest mountain systems of the world. So that's one country which is happiest. And I think the indicators that the international organizations use to measure happiness is the means of livelihood, the sources of income, the level of education, and maybe the literacy rate, we can say, not the level of education, and the productivity of the people engaged in different economic activities. So all of these aspects cumulatively decide upon what happiness index should be all about, and why we have countries in top 5 list of countries as we have, starting with Bhutan, and then all the Scandinavian countries. They are happiest countries in the world because they have no joblessness. They have good employment opportunities, good health and infrastructure facilities, good education facilities. So yes, we do have this happiness index, and this is one of the interesting features we have in the world, that we have a country which is actually the happiest country in the world.
It's interesting, isn't it, how happiness is defined, or measure. You go into organization like UNICEF and, like, yeah, different organization actually stating what happiness is. By end of the day, is also in your state of mind, as you said, it's how you see, how you define it, because it's all to do with our own mind. Yeah. So can you give us some suggestion for our audience, how people can practice and stay positive and practice happiness? Some tips would be really good.
A simple thought that comes to my mind while you ask me this question is that happy thoughts equal happy emotions, and happy emotions will equal happy actions, hence happy people. So this is how we can actually summarize the whole concept of happiness. So I would just like to elaborate it that most of us actually encounter stress on daily basis. So stress is that everlasting or a constant part of our life that we do not try to understand that it is affecting our mental health. So we celebrated mental health, International Mental Health Day on 10th of October, just exactly after 1 month of International Suicide Prevention Day, which was on the 10th of December. And after a month, in the month of December, we will celebrate Human Rights Day, International Human Rights Day. So why I mentioned all these 3 dates, September the 10th, October the 10th, and December the 10th, it's because they all have a relationship. We all are humans. We all need to protect ourselves from all the things which are negative or which cause stress to us, that leads us to suicide or that kills the source of happiness in our lives. It's very important to understand the importance of mental health and well-being. Hence, it is very important to realize the value of communication and the power of talking things out to coaches like you, the life and leadership coaches like Parul Begum herself, because she's there to listen when you want to talk, when you want to express that, okay, I need advice or I need counseling. It's very important to communicate your concerns to professionals like maybe myself, if you want to ask for an advice or interact about the legal consequences of something that disturbs you, right from the domestic issues to the legal issues. So all aspects boil down to one aspect, that we need to create our own sources of happiness. And the first advice which I have mentioned throughout this conversation is maintain a gratitude or a happiness journal. It helps to write down things. Then the second aspect would be, again, to understand our mental health is our own responsibility. If we are mentally healthy and strong, we will be physically much more stronger than what we actually think ourselves to be. So the second part would be, I would advise all our beloved audience to do some reading at community centers. London is blessed with community centers and libraries and lush green parks which offer you a comfortable environment to read a book or listen to a book on a Kindle, or any other source which offers you a listening of a book that you want to listen to and relax yourself. So you can practice yoga, you can practice cycling or any sports, dancing, singing, painting, gardening, that actually takes your mind off the monotonous routine that you have. So if you engage in any of the activities that I've mentioned, starting from yoga, meditation, it sounds very cliche actually, but it helps. You should be having a hobby to not to do anything with your mobile phone, with your gadgets, with anything, but the time just for your own self, or just with your friends for a cup of coffee. Like if you're going out to socialize, to just talk about random things, or but what maybe Boris Johnson is doing, or but what Joe Biden is doing, or what happening anywhere in the world, if that does not cause you any sort of stress. So this is the second part. And then the third advice would be like, if you are feeling negative thoughts, if you feel that you are affected with all those emotions that's causing you some sort of mental stress, turmoil, giving you any, I would say, suicidal ideations, then talk to somebody who's close to you. Counting somebody, at the time of adversity, that really leads to kind of security and emotional security that leads to happiness. Because if you have someone, you share your pain, grief, or any issue that bothers you about, the person might say something in return which comforts you, and that can instantly bring a smile on your face, which will immediately de-stress you, because it's all about chemicals in our body that help to de-stress us or that helps to cause stress in us. So this is the third part of my advice. Fourth part would be eat well. Do not miss food. Do not develop those conscious thoughts of your self-image that you look dark or light, slim or fat, or anything to do with your body image. Always remember, a healthy body will always be possible if you have a healthy mind. So if you have a healthy mind, that will nurture your whole body. And food is very important to nurture your body and nurture your mind. So nurture relationships, nurture your body, nurture your mind in order to stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed.
Thank you, Arpu. Thank you very much for summarizing. You raised a couple of important points, and you summarize it with the 4 point. And this thing doesn't cost any money. So
Absolutely.
you talked about starting with being appreciative, doing gratitude journal. 1 minute or 2 minutes in your bedtime. You can, whether in morning or evening, you can do the physical exercise. You gave quite a lot of example of practical things people can, whether the people go to walk, reading, listening something positive, or doing some physical exercise, which is great. You talked about positive state of mind. End of the day is all to do with our mind and how to divert. If you having negative thoughts coming, do something that divert your mindset, so you don't think of that, but just think of positivity. So thank you very much, Arpo. Thank you for all your points. And I just want to say to audience is, this is our part of video series, and there'll be more interview coming up. Me and Arpo doing quite a lot of work, so you will see more of us in future as well. And we also got a amazing free webinar coming up on 22nd of October. It's called Boost Your Confidence in 7 Days, and it is free to join. So I'll put details in below this video as well, where you can actually book yourself. It's a 90 minutes seminar where you learn more about it. But we'll be coming with more videos, and also I will be working with Arpo on your next episode in December. You got something, coming up on international human rights. So I hope we will be able to do some videos on that one as well. So thank you very much for your time, Arpu. Anything else you want to say, final thoughts before we close off?
Well, like I said, my final thoughts would be stay happy, stay healthy, and stay blessed. At the same time, I would also remind my audience to remember it's the time to be more self-aware about what we are, who we are, and what we want to do in our lives. Because self-awareness is the first step to making ourselves happy and making our surroundings happy. So in order to create that positive thought and a happy state of mind, we have to be a positive individual ourselves first, then our surroundings will be happy. And it takes nothing to create happiness. It's all these small changes which we do every day, that makes us happy. So my parting thought is, count your blessings every day and they will make you more rich every morning.
Absolutely. Yeah, I think doing things every day, that's important. Don't make us exhaustive lists. These things there, or discuss the 4 point, you can build that in your daily routine. You don't have to spend money. you can do things, in your part of your daily routine, and then your mind stay happy, and you stay focused. So please do like our video, share with your friends and families, because really important, we want this message to go to everyone. So please do share, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and like our videos as well, and then there will be more videos coming up. Stay tuned, and bye for now.
Thank you.
Thank you, Arpu.
Thank you, Parul.